Alright, the Reds, Monday's talking Reds, and we're still on a bus crossing Europe. We're somewhere near Leipzig right now, so we're wondering whether we could pop in and see baby Keith about his imminent move to Liverpool Football Club. But no, we need to crack on and we need to get across Europe. We need to get to France. We need to get on the Eurotunnel. We need to travel up from down south, and we need to arrive back in Liverpool, back in the arms of friends and family, back in our own showers and using our own toilets and the comforts of home. And we're down to 13. We had 15 originally on the trip. John Gibbons and Sound Craig, or Yorkshire Craig, or Wool Craig, or whatever Craig you want him to be. He's gone as well. The pair of them have caught a flight. They're going to Zurich from Prague, and then from Zurich to home. We're all sticking with it because we didn't have 300 quid to spare. Anyway. But yeah, the journey, I mean, we'll do the match in a minute, but you all know what happened in the match, and there's plenty of time to talk about that, and we'll be talking about that at length on the Anfield Wrap, which will be out today as usual. There's already a show out there straight after the match, the Pink, the post-match show, that's already out there as well if you need to listen to chat about what went wrong and why and all the rest of it. But no, first of all, let's do our trip. I mean, it's absolutely boiling here. You might see a few globules of sweat coming down my face. It's because we've had to close the window to do this because there's too much wind noise. There's still no air conditioning. I think we can safely say there's not going to be with the whole trip. But yeah, mad things have happened, haven't they? I mean, you discovered that you were the richest man in Ukraine on the way home, because basically, you know, it's a closed currency, so you can't, if you bring it all home, you can't spend it, you can't exchange it. So Craig decided to buy anything and everything in one of the garages that we stopped off at, because there has been basically a tour of Europe's garages. We might rate them all as a future show, we'll see. But in that particular garage, you ended up with, well, tell them yourself, mate, what you ended up with.
I feel like I actually own that shop now. I think what happened was, and I'm a bit worried, I lifted Ukrainian money earlier in that day, and she just passed me a wad of cash. So I'm not sure how much that she's taken off my card in English money, but I was Brewstered, to be honest. And so we get to the petrol station, and I thought it would be the last stop in Ukraine, and I had still this wad of cash. So just bought everyone things, didn't we? So we got loads of alcohol, beer, vodka, Jaeger. Bought a sandcastle bucket set, which we used both as a hat and
ice bucket
and put crisps in. I bought this sticky ball game. Do you know the
what it's like the Velcro thing that you hold like that and people throw a ball,
which was a good investment. I think it went down well. It boosted morale yesterday. I think
we found out that it doesn't work when you spill a pint on it though.
No, and there's been a lot of that, hasn't there? There's been a lot of spillages in this trip.
How's the computer?
It's RIP.
Is it?
Well, it's not turned on since. So
have you tried to charge it?
I'm trying not to think about it. Never mind thinking about
we'll move
thinking
on
about how to deal with that situation. But
we'll move on. I'm trying to think what else has happened that's been mad. Oh yeah, just fairly recently, when we crossed the border from the Czech Republic into Germany, we pulled over by the police. And if you've been watching these regularly and listening to the tour diaries we've been doing, the podcast that we've been doing about our trip, you'll know by now that Dave, the bus driver's big shout, no matter what the situation is, the press! I've got the press! These are the press! Now I'm the only person with a press card on this bus, so it's me having to come to the front and be the press. Liverpool press,
flag press,
international press, Germany press. I can't wait to see what happens next. We'll somehow fly across the channel, I think, because we're press.
He's honestly,
it's all worked.
The things he's done.
We got a car parking spec right next to the fan park,
which
one else did. No international broadcaster got a spec there, but we did.
Honestly, it took me about, I'd say, 20 seconds to walk from there to the stage.
Yeah.
He couldn't have got it any better. It took about 5 minutes to walk from the stadium. Don't know how he managed it. That queue coming into Ukraine from Poland, is it customs, but thingy control, whatever. We drove past. I'm sure you've talked about it before, but we drove past a queue that was honestly 2 miles long, and we would have been. It was looking like 7.5 hour wait. We did it in just under 2.
Yeah.
So, press man.
But yeah, so far, fingers crossed anyway, you know, getting back, it's been a bit of a grueler, let's be honest, and you know, the much vaunted trip to Prague actually resulted in quite a late arrival. Some of us, Craig being one, went and had a couple of pints and something to eat. Some of us, me being one, decided I needed a bed and I needed a kip, and I wasn't much in the mood for celebrating, you know, with the match and that. So I got my head down, popped a sleeping pill, good night Vienna, and I feel good for it today, so I'm glad I did.
I think like we had all these grand plans for Prague.
Yeah.
First of all, before the European Cup final, because we were talking about, you know, celebrating us winning number 6, and then after the European Cup final yesterday when we were driving back, we drove back, we set off at 1 a.m. after the game. We cut to Prague at 11:30 at night, so we were on that bus all day. But it sounds grueling, it sounds horrific, doesn't it? But it was actually really good fun yesterday.
Yeah,
we did have a laugh, but I think what's different people were peaking at different times.
Yeah.
So there were peaks through the afternoon, then it would die down a little bit, and then someone would fall asleep, and then there was peaks. I feel like we all peaked at about 4 hours before we got to Prague, bouncing around, singing, and just having a laugh. And then by the time we got to Prague, everyone got a shower. It was difficult. I think we were still out till 3:30, but we did get there quite late. So we gave it a go, but it's unfortunate it didn't. You know, it took us so long to get there. But
the other news as well from the trip is that Gibbo has completed Jody Marsh's biography. There'll be a separate podcast on that where page by page he'll review Jody's life. I'm joking, but yeah, I mean, he did complete it. He no doubt will talk about it at a future point, but you know, I don't want to spoil it for him. He knows the lives and times of Jody Marsh now. Also knows a lot about his sex life and what she's looking for in the future. So you know, if you're interested in Jody Marsh, John's your man.
Her list of things that she wants from a man was like half a page long, yeah. And it included the best one was.
One of them was you had to have lost your best friend, which was pretty heavy stuff. Like, I mean, you find out you got a chance with Jody Marsh, and say you really fancy her and think really want to, you know, go out with this girl. You got to basically assassinate your best friend to have a chance. seems harsh.
It really does. There was some other mad ones as well, but yeah. How would you describe her? An interesting woman.
Interesting character, yeah.
And an interesting character.
Life. And for 175, I think John said himself, it was an absolute bargain of a book. he was even talking about trying to drive back to the bookshop where he got it from and giving them the rest of the money because he felt it was well worth the read. All right, well, the final, then let's talk about that. I mean, first off, I think we have to say that the day was absolutely brilliant. We all had a great time. The fan park was brilliant and well organised and well into Liverpool FC for that, and the work that went into that to make it happen. The Anfield Wrap were on there for a little bit, Red member on there for a little bit, Boss Mag, Jamie Webster, John Power, Peter Hooton, and it's fair to say that the mood before the match was absolutely brilliant. Shout out to Kiev as a city as well. I mean, we've all been slagging it off in terms of infrastructure and the problems with hotels and rooms and everything else, but I think everyone would say that on the day, pretty nice round the park, well done. We all had a good time, everyone was in a good mood, no moodiness. Anyone who went to Athens will tell you about, you know, the mood around that finals can be varying, and the mood at Athens was awful and crap, and it just didn't feel right at any point during the day. Total opposite here. Everyone was quite confident, sun was out, blue skies, everyone enjoying themselves, and then, you know, then the football bit went and spoiled it a little bit really. But even then, I think plenty of people enjoyed the pre-match entertainment. Want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. First of all, within that park, I think everyone was obviously excited about the game, but what they kept saying was, "This is brilliant, isn't it?" And
yeah,
it was just
really good.
It was really, really well organised and well into the club as well. For, like you say, they've obviously reached out and thought, right, what do the fans want? And what the fans want then is the 2 fan channels, and it's it's Webster's Boss Night, and it was brilliant. The Anfield Wrap had a slot, an hour slot. It was Gibbo and Neil, and Neil was, giving out rousing speeches, and Gibbo was playing music behind it.
Swirling pyro round and all kinds. Should have seen him.
They played Show Me Love, and it went off. And there's a video on our Twitter if you go on there, and Neil has a flare, and there's like footballs getting put into the crowd and pyros going off.
Changed his Twitter pictures, so if you missed it all, both his Twitter pictures now, there's made one in his background reflecting a big performance out in Kiev, and oddly my cousin took one of their pictures, which is weird. But anyway, it was fantastic. Yeah. There's video of it kicking round as well, and it was really good. I think set the tone, got everyone in the mood. Everyone was flying off it, and then loads of people just sort of saying, Neil was great there. Why did John Power stop me? And like, you know, I'm a big fan of Cast and the Lars and all that sort of stuff. And he was like, Neil was great there, wasn't he? And I was like, yes, he was, wasn't he? You know what I mean? So it was a nice moment for everyone. That was cracker. And then in the ground though is what I wanted to get you on, because you know, it's fair to say that when the Anfield Wrap listens to music in the office and on this coach as well, there's differing musical tastes going on. And what I mean by that is loads of the stuff that the young lads play, I'm like, fucking hell, this is shit. And vice versa. You know, my music is labelled Jadar, and as I am a dad of two, I'm fairly comfortable with that these days. But you know, the music pre-match was not my music. Well, I thought it wasn't.
Yes,
but then I loved it. I loved it. I was getting right into it. I was dancing away, and I was like, this is all right, isn't it? They were right. But I was in the top tier. You were in the bottom one, weren't you?
No, we were in the top tier, but we were near the front of the top tier, so we could see right down into the bottom tier, which I think made it. Oh my God! So
she's Instagrammed it, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has. Yeah, Dua Lipa's Instagrammed it, and it's a video taken from the bottom tier. Of the Liverpool fans going off. It was just all the little lids at the front bouncing around, knowing every word, and it's the bit where it goes, one case is all it takes, and then the beat drops, and I swear it was unbelievable.
It was good.
And yeah, like there's been quite a few people tweeting about it actually. They didn't know who she was, but then you know, they really like her now, and I think it's going to be interesting next time she comes to Liverpool. Like, she plays the Echo Arena or something, and you know, she's got all her like usual fan base, and then she's just got all the little
cop.
Yeah.
The
and there's red pyro and flares going off. That's what's going to happen. So
we'd love to interview her, by the way. You know, you never know with these things and who watches and all the rest of it. So you know, if someone knows her and she fancies a chat about what it was like to play to a load of Reds and making one end of the ground absolutely go off, we'd love to have that chat.
It was
to make that happen.
It's the way you say one end, the Real Madrid fans bemused by it all. They were like, what's this? Why are the Liverpool fans enjoying?
Why aren't you looking at our massive tifo that we've made that no one's asked about? You know what I mean? We're saying, look at Madrid, look how big Madrid are, and we're like, nah, we're having a dance, lad, shut up.
But she seems to... she's, you know what, this is all very unexpected after Dua Lipa, I must say. If you'd told me on Friday that Gareth Roberts was going to be Dua Lipa's #1 fan come Monday, who knew? But that, it was brilliant, and yeah, Dua Lipa, if you're watching, if anyone knows Dua Lipa and just watching, I'd just love to hear what she had to say, because on her social media channel she seemed to be absolutely made up, and she was I think in the stadium she was wearing red as well, wasn't she, and said she was a Scouser for the day, and yeah, she did. Yeah, what a girl.
I don't want to get too much into the footy. We know what happened, you know what happened. As I say, we've already done one podcast on it. We're about to do another later today from the bus, so if you want to have a listen to that, the one later today will be free, so you can get stuck into that. I don't think we need to get into it loads other than to say, obviously it was really disappointing, but at the same time, what I do want to say is that, you know, some of the reactions to it and some of the things that are becoming a thing, if you like. I'm going to do Ramos first. Obviously everyone's talking about Ramos, what he did, whether it was intentional, what type of person he is, whether that's right, whether there should be retrospective action, people starting petitions. For me, it's just done. It's done, it's over. Think about next season now. It's gone. I'm not interested in recriminations or whatever, not bothered. And I have to say that, you know, this is only my view. I'll ask you yours in a minute, but like, look, for years we've actually absolutely revered Graham Souness for cracking a fella in a European Cup match, for being hard, for being a fella who won by fair means or foul. And we've had other players like that as well who were right on the line, you know, more recently, say Suarez, for instance, I can't even say it. That. So just to sort of all go mad about one player and what he did and didn't do and why he did it and what for, I'm not personally bothered. I'd have Ramos playing for us if he was at his best, you know what I mean, and I'd celebrate him as being a bit of an arse and a bit of a fella who engages in the dark arts, not really into the rolling around on the pitch stuff and all that. But sometimes, you know, why can't we have someone who does that? Do you know what I mean? Why didn't anyone on our side sort of notice what was going on and think, well, if the ref's not going to chip in, I'll employ some of these tactics. You know, one for another time maybe, but that's just my view on it. I understand why people go the other way. I understand the emotion around it all and why you might be getting angry. but just my opinion, not for me.
Just to be expected from him, and I think
I mean, he's got an history of it, hasn't he?
Yeah, and it's exactly what you say there. It's one of them where if he's in our team, you're kind of celebrating it and having a little laugh at it, and if he's not, you're fuming about it. And there's just no morals in football. You know, there's just what can we do now? It's done, and he's done what he's done, and it's that winning by any means necessary mentality that he has. You know, it was talked about in the build-up to the game that's what Real Madrid were like. We knew that's what they were going to be like, and it's happened. So yeah, move on.
I also think like petitions and things like that, like they almost lose the power if you do one over everything. Do you know what I mean? Let's save those type of things. Let's save, you know, motivating a whole fan base and getting stuck into something for things that really matter. You know, I had a bit of an exchange on our direct messages on Facebook yesterday because some fella wanted me to start a petition to get Loris Karius out of the club, and I was like, well, you know, he just made a couple of mistakes, mate, and yet they were massive, and yet I'm really disappointed, and I can understand why people are angry, but what are we petitioning for? And you know, he was going on about gross negligence and all kinds. This lad, I'm like, he doesn't mean to do it. He doesn't mean to do it. Look at the state he's in afterwards. And also, even if he is moved on, well, Liverpool want to sell him. Liverpool want to get some money for him if he's moving on. And if he's not moving on, well, we need to get performances out of him. So either way, I'm quite happy to leave it to the fella employed as a manager, the fella employed as a director of football, and all the fellas around them too, to make the decision. When fans start getting involved to that level, I think it's wrong. What's next? Are we going to pick the team? We're going to have a Twitter vote for who the first 11 is for the the first game in August. I think we're getting a bit out of hand with all that, to be honest. So yeah, not for me.
I'd love to see into the mindset of these people that make these mad petitions, like the one about Sergio Ramos. Like, what's he thinking when he's taking the time to make that? Is he thinking, can I get this match replayed here? This one happened. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Like, and
just go outside, have a great time, forget about it. It's the summer now.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a couple of weeks, or just over a couple of weeks until the World Cup. Not long after the World Cup, the friendlies start, and then before you know it, you're in the new season. We can all get excited again, and we all go again, and we see what happens, and we see where Liverpool ends up. I think, you know, Liverpool are on a journey. You know, gone a little bit off in the final, but we've still got a good side, a good manager, certainly a good fan base and an engaged fan base, and one that hasn't felt as good as this for a long time. So let's see where that takes us. We know that we've got Keita coming, we know that we've likely got more coming. Exciting time to be a Liverpool fan. And look, you know, if there's stuff out there that you don't like, you know, the Everton fans crowing, Man United fans crowing, Gary Neville putting a bit of a silly song on his Twitter or whatever, let them. It's part of the game. And let's be honest, if it was the other way around, like in the unlikely events that Everton ever reach a European Cup final and they lose, I will be out, I will be celebrating, I will be loving it, I will be tweeting about it, I'll be doing all the things they're doing to me. So all the fucking best, bring it on. We've had a great time, we've loved it. This journey's been boss. I've been with my mates, I've been to a new city, I've been to a few new cities. It's been sunny, the sun shined, we watched Liverpool, he didn't win, we'll crack on with it. You're not doing that, are you? You're sitting at home, writing tweets and trying to wind people up. All the best. Love you. Mwah.
All the Everton boys are at home. I think that's Neil just said he's about to light a flare there. Don't do that, lad. We've had enough in this bus. Enough problems.
We've had enough incidences with the police already for one journey.
I think like a couple of things. I love seeing the opposition fans like giving it to you, because it's like, well, I do it to you too, and just brush off. Don't let it bother you. Like, you know, we've
it's great that it matters to you. It's great that, you know, there's people specifically
that you're relevant.
I hope that Robbo's pissed off. Yeah, I was pissed off, mate. I'm made up that you've watched them. I'm made up that you've watched me this season ripping your shite team, and I'll continue to do so forevermore.
Yeah.
Also, as well, in terms of the moving on thing as well, we've got to move on. We've got to not keep saying, you know, let the press, let the mainstream media go on about Klopp's records and finals and all that. I know he's the right manager. You know he's the right manager. We all do. We're behind him. We back him. We can see the improvements. We can see the football played. And if people want to go on about records and finals, let them. That's what mainstream media do. But this is our media. This is us as us fans, and we can create our own messages. We can create our own mood. And we did that in Kiev, and it was absolutely brilliant. So we can keep doing that. We can keep enjoying our football, keep enjoying our experiences. And don't let the knobheads in. Just don't let them in your life. Go outside and enjoy yourself, you know what I mean? Anyway,
another thing as well, like whenever you see people on social media saying how they've been on that bus, they took a bus to Kiev, or they did this and they've been beaten, or like, oh, I feel sorry for all the lads that went to Kiev and they've come back and they haven't been able to do it. Don't feel sorry for us. I've had a fucking belter in about 10 different cities, going to watch the Reds and having a nice pint in Kiev. So
and we enjoyed Rome, we enjoyed Manchester City, we enjoyed Porto. We've been enjoying ourselves all season, and look, it didn't end with a trophy at the end. And okay, and history might forget it, but I'm not forgetting the times I had with my mates. I'm not forgetting the great trips I've had here. I've got plenty to talk about here for years to come, and plenty of other trips in the past that we can still talk about, and we'll have more. We're in the Champions League next season. Bring it on. It's going to be boss. These boys will be a little bit better for the experience, won't they? So, anyway, that's been Talking Reds. We could keep going, but we want to save some for the podcast. So that free podcast will be out there later today. We will be going on and on and on right through the summer, not just about that game, about transfers, about the World Cup, about the friendlies, about who stays, who goes, about everything to do with Liverpool Football Club.
Only if we don't melt away here into liquids and
it's
you never see us again. If that happens, then you know what's happened.
It's a bit like a sauna this now, only I've got all my clobber on. Giggity. So that has been Talking Reds. Give us a subscribe. It is the AnfieldWrap.com/subscribe. That gives you access to loads and loads and loads of podcasts, past, present and future. Up the Reds.